Chargers fans, let us rejoice. It is a glorious, glorious week. As we all know, on Thursday night, after the Chargers' horrible loss to the Raiders, in which they lost 63-21, the Chargers finally decided to let go of Brandon Staley and Tom Telesco. Now, I'm not so sure how I feel about the Telesco thing, but Staley, obviously, I'm all for. I'm just happy he's out the door, at least just from a football standpoint, because it's never fun for anyone to lose a job. But this man will find work somewhere. But due to his performance over the past few years as our head coach, as the Chargers head coach, I highly doubt anyone will ever consider him for a head coaching position, sadly. But I'll give him some credit for changing the fourth down culture. He was really like the pioneer of just like using analytics to decide whether or not a team should go forward in certain situations. Although foolish, it is a new exciting element to NFL football. You know what I mean? So we really don't know where this Chargers thing is going as far as the direction of the franchise. We obviously have Herbert, but he's had some trouble staying healthy. He's played through a lot of injuries. But when he is healthy, he makes those throws we expect him to make. And, but although this year there were some throws, you look at and be like, man, how is Herbert missing that? But still, he has 20 touchdowns, 7 interceptions. But, and the finger injury and everything. So, give him some time to get healthy. We're going to get the best out of our quarterback. Eckler, I think he's going. I mean, that's pretty much a done deal with everything that happened this past summer. And then this year, we kind of see how he's really not what we need out of our number one running back. And the guys behind them really haven't done much of anything. So it's just time to move on from that and just come with a new approach to our game plan rather than relying on Eckler. Really is more of a third down kind of gadget type of back, always has been, sort of like a Darren Sproles. But he's just been really inconsistent. So I'd be happy for us to move on from Eckler. But another issue we have is going into next season, we are way over the salary cap. And we have about 6 or 7 starters whose contracts expire at the end of the season. So looking at it that way, we may be in a hole for a while before we really start to see this thing turn around. That is unless I believe we get Bill Belichick. I know everyone isn't on board with that, but you must understand, you have to, that Belichick is a genius when it comes to player development, maximizing talent. I mean, look what happened to J.C. Jackson. We all hurt with that signing, and that's going to hurt us for a while. But yeah, he played so poorly, we traded him back to New England, and he instantly made an impact there, although he's had some issues there, personal issues there, that has held him back. He has been playing better in that system. So that's what we need. Belichick just knows how to put guys in certain positions to win. And it's one of those things that just made him a great coach. Like, without him, that team shouldn't even be winning 1 or 2 games. Like, really. I mean, they're horrible. But with Belichick, and it'll be the best roster he's had other than maybe like the Tom Brady, Randy Moss era. It'll be the best roster he's had to work with as a coach. So, that's a plus for him as well. And also change the scenery. It might be good for him when he's getting older later in life. You want to relax, be in warm weather. I'm sure that may play into it. And that's why a lot of media outlets are connecting Bill Belichick with the Chargers, So, like I said, I'm all in for bringing him in hopes of just turning this thing around quickly, because I really believe that's sort of an instant fix. I won't say instant, but, it'll get things moving in the right direction sooner rather than later. Now, another huge issue is the secondary. And like I said, the cap space is really going to affect how we move forward with this thing. But Derwin James is really the only reliable player we have back there. Asante is just, he's not it. Maybe put him in a slot, do something, but to have him out there versus the best guy on the opposing team is just not the way to go moving forward. So we have to figure that out through the draft. Something, who knows? But again, hopefully, maybe in that Belichick system, Asante Samuel and some of the other backs, Gilman, and they may, see very, very, very productive seasons under Bill Belichick. So, I mean, it's good to wait and see. Belichick will see, who will fit and who may not, because there's going to be guys that push back against him because of the sort of culture he brings. I've read articles about how he doesn't relate to players. Well, I mean, that's a good thing. This is a job. This is a business. Like, you want to make friends to a certain extent, but Belichick understands, like, we have goals. Like, our goal is to win a ring year after year. But a lot of players have a hard time adjusting to such, I guess, a harder system than they're used to. You know what I mean? Like, Belichick, it's cold in New England, so that's just added frustration and stress to the system, to the whole situation for any free agents or players, playing under Belichick. But I think that's what we need. We need to toughen this team up. These social media guys, I know it's the new age thing. That's what everybody does. And really, another added side note is we all know how Herbert really does not. I don't want to say doesn't like, but he doesn't favor the media. And obviously, we all know Belichick is pretty much the same way. So I think that will bring a certain dynamic to their relationship, and maybe they'll push each other further in some way. Who knows? But it's something they have in common, which will be interesting to see how that plays out. Maybe Herbert will just start to shut down like Belichick every week. Who knows? But the offensive and defensive lines, I think, can be molded into something solid, depending on who we get as our long-term coach. If it's not Belichick, we just really need them guys to stay healthy. We know Lindsey was out, Slater last year. We really just been just mixing and matching and plugging in players here and there and trying to make it work. It just hasn't. But things were looking up, but clearly we need some work done on those lines, more so the offensive line than the defensive line. I have more faith in that defensive side of the ball than I do in the offensive side at this point, because again, Mike Williams, he's injured constantly. Palmer, I do believe he has a lot of upside, but again, the line, the lack of like a speed receiver, the lack of a running back is just it's not good. So closing this thing out, so basically let's just brace ourselves for a long rocky road ahead. Good or bad, it will be an interesting and entertaining one, I'm sure. So Chargers fans, this is Brian at IYE.